I'm Bradley Goodliff for Culture of Gaming, and as I expect many of you may already know, the drama between Bethesda and Warner Bros. Is still ongoing. For those of you that don't know, let me try and catch you up real quick. A week or so ago, Bethesda issued a copyright infringement and breach of contract lawsuit against Warner Bros. The lawsuit specifically concerns Fallout Shelter and the Westworld mobile game. Bethesda alleges that Behavior illegally used the same copyrighted source code from Fallout Shelter to develop Westworld, and copied Fallout Shelter's game design, art, animations, gameplay features, and other elements. As a result of Behavior and Warner Bros. Unlawful conduct, Westworld is a blatant ripoff of Fallout Shelter, with largely superficial cosmetic changes. Those are some pretty big accusations coming from Bethesda. Calling something a blatant ripoff isn't something a large corporation can throw around lightly, especially if you're throwing it at Warner Bros. But when you actually take a look at the Westworld game, it's hard not to see where Bethesda is coming from. At first glance, it looks remarkably similar. Its art style, gameplay mechanics, and even its animation all look to have heavily borrowed from Fallout Shelter. Even if you were to write this off as a coincidence or even a more iterative effort, it becomes a little more difficult when you learn that Behavior Interactive, the developer of the Westworld game, also worked on Fallout Shelter, which would have given them access to the allegedly stolen source code in question. It doesn't stop there though, the plot thickens. Bethesda have even noted that a bug that was recorded during earlier versions of Fallout Shelter was also evident in the Westworld game. Mate, the evidence is starting to look pretty damning. However, we should all reserve judgment until the final verdict. You know, innocent until proven guilty and all that good stuff. But wait, there's more! The plot thickens! Again, the plot is now so thick it is clinically obese. Almost a week later, Warner Bros. Responds with an official statement. As one of the world's leading creators of intellectual property, including the groundbreaking television series Westworld, Warner Bros. Has a deep respect for intellectual property rights. As such, the assertion by Bethesda Softworks that Warner's Westworld mobile game improperly used source code from Bethesda's Fallout Shelter are as surprising as they are unsubstantiated. Warner Bros. Has been assured by the game developer, Behavior Interactive, that Bethesda's allegations are untrue and that none of Bethesda's code was used in the Westworld game. Moreover, contrary to Bethesda's baseless accusations, Warner Bros. At no time induced Behavior to use the Fallout Shelter code in Westworld. Did you hear that? They said they were baseless and unsubstantiated. Warner Bros. Denies everything about the lawsuit right off the bat. They're ready to take this thing to court. A response with those kind of cojones makes me seriously consider both sides, no matter how damning the initial evidence presented may appear to be. There's been some people here and there explaining that whilst Westworld may appear to be similar to Fallout Shelter, that it does enough to be treated as its own game. However, it's important to remember that the lawsuit doesn't concern the copying of ideas. If that were the case, Bethesda should have gone after every clone on the App Store, and Rocksteady should be suing every company that tried to iterate upon the Arkham combat style. No, the problem here is that Bethesda are accusing Warner Bros. And Behavior Interactive of stealing and reusing source code of Fallout Shelter. They are claiming that work has been stolen. As we begin to close the video, it's important to reiterate that it's still unclear as to who is lying, who is telling the truth, or if perhaps Bethesda have just made a false claim. No matter how damning the evidence may appear, remember to maintain an open and fair mind when passing judgment on the subject. The fact that these two are massive companies does not mean that level-headed discourse should be thrown right out the window. Before we end the video, you feeling generous? Why not check out our Patreon page, which you can access from the description below. If you're interested, you could chuck us a one-time tax-deductible donation, or sign up to one of our monthly reward tiers, giving you access to Patreon-exclusive content. Any contribution, small or large, is heavily appreciated. With that said, thanks for watching, we love you loads, and we'll see you next time.